Well, we've obviously got a big one coming up Thursday, chance to play at home. Florida is really, really good. They're playing, I think they're playing very well. I know they've, Amanda's doing a great job with them after they lost to Kristen Ackey. I think they're really starting to find their chemistry. They're doing a lot of things defensively that can really cause you some problems. They played South Carolina really well except for one quarter. And so they have our attention. Extremely talented, can get up and down the floor, an athletic group. So we should have great focus today and tomorrow to prepare for them. But really expecting a really good basketball team coming in here on Thursday, 8 o'clock. I know it's a little late for my group and my fans, but I need them to maybe get a nap that day and be here ready to go at 8 o'clock on Thursday night.
What does that second unit do for your team? We saw a 13-2 run by mostly, if not all, second team players. Blair comes in there and hits 2 big threes. She comes in the fourth quarter, hits a big 3 when Tennessee made a run. What's been the difference for that unit as opposed to maybe in years past? Is it just simply depth, experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think in that group you got 2 starters that have been starters in their career and could easily be for us in Katera and Rowe. Rowe was a starter at Oklahoma State. You know, Rowe's dinged up right now and just gutting it out. And, you know, I really appreciate that with her. She's trying to help us. But you know, with those 2 in particular, you get to me, you got some kids that have been in those big moments. And then, you know, Jazz is playing really good at point guard right now. She's making some really good decisions. She's come a long, long way, handling the ball and not turning it over, making good decisions. And of course, Blair, you know, she's been in that moment many, many times as a AAU and high school player. And right now, she wants the ball. I think she feels like the rim's as big around as a peach basket right now. So she's got a lot of confidence playing. She's always been our best help defender. Her and Katera consistently throughout their time here have been our best help defenders. So on that end, they've always been very good and very solid. But I think right now, shooting the ball, she's got a lot of confidence. So I think with that group, and then Tiara, you know, Tiara plays 30 minutes the other night. I mean, Chinway has 2 fouls and 2 trips. For Tiara McCown to come in and drag the big girl from Tennessee up and down the floor for 30 minutes and basically have a push with her, really proud of Tiara because that kid's an All-American in Tennessee and so special. And, you know, just the thought of having to deal with her again is not fun to think about. I've got a month and a half to not worry about it, but she's just so good. And Tiara really, I think, went in and competed and held her own. And so that group is not I don't think they're your typical, if you want to call them, second group. I think they're all capable of starting. They're all capable of making big shots in that moment, and most of them have, I think.
As a coach, how do you get players to embrace roles as opposed to being a starter, anything like that?
I think that's what allows a team to be special. We don't have kids walking around with, quote unquote, the eye on their forehead. That's unique in today's athletic world. And I think that's why we've had the success we've had. I saw in that game the other day at Tennessee starting to get the chemistry piece offensively, the extra pass, drawing to, kicking it where they came from to get that open look, turning down a tough shot to get a better shot. And so I just think that speaks to our kids, to their basketball IQ, to their selflessness. They're really special. And I think, again, that's what allows you to have those special teams and special seasons.
You talk about Blair having that high school AAU. She just always had that picked up his pace.
Yeah, you know, it just, you know, goes back to when she was in Little Dribblers, 8 years old, and had 60 points. I mean, you couldn't press. You only got to play 3 out of 5 quarters. You know, she'd wait for them at half court, rip them, go lay it in, run back to half court, wait till they got to half court, rip them, go lay it in. She did it for, you know, 3 out of 5 quarters. But just that aggressive piece is I think with her, she's just always been that way. And as y'all know, you know, she's played with a broken nose. She's played with 4 stitches over her eyes. She's never missed a practice, never missed a game. Pretty tough kid, step in front of a freight train, take a charge. And again, a giver. You know, she wants to win. She'll do anything to help her teammates. And she is a good teammate. So, but it takes a special mindset. You know, Victoria's had to do it all her career to take that shot, to want to take that shot, to want to be in that moment. I think the team with my team right now is we've got several kids that want to be in that moment, that aren't afraid to fail. And that's the mindset you have to have. And you got to want to be in that moment. You got to want to take that shot. You got to want to be the one that gets run over, gets the stop, whatever it is. I mean, Tori wanted to be in that moment defensively the other night, and she responded.
Oh, Blair said that maybe she's a little bit more comfortable in the role that she has now in recognizing that the strength of her game, or maybe what's expected of her most, is the three-point shooting. How much have you noticed the difference in maybe a better understanding on her part of maybe playing more to her strength?
I'm not sure I notice a whole lot of difference. The kid I see is the kid that brings it every day. You know, her, Dom, Katara. I mean, they're pretty solid every day bringing it. They just, not that others aren't, but those 3 in particular just seem to pretty much every day you know what you're going to get. And Blair's always been a competitor. She's always been a good practice player. She's always been ready when the lights come on. I think the thing she's doing right now, Adam, she's not turning it over. You know, I think that's a piece that's been a concern in her, maybe her first couple of years. And I think right now she has an understanding of not putting herself in a position to make that turnover. And so I think that's probably been the biggest improvement for her right now.
It may have just been maybe just a mental hurdle for this team, but how big was that win going on the road at Tennessee for this program moving forward?
Well, I said this today in my lunch, and I understand the significance. I know how hard it is to win in that building. I think they've only lost 34 games in there in the whole history.
That was the 34th.
That was their 34th game in the history of the building, in the history of women's basketball at Tennessee. It's hard to wrap your mind around that statement. I understand that. I've been coaching 32 years. As I said, I've been in that building a bunch, and you know, number 4 playing in unranked teams happened a ton in that building. But usually number 4 was Tennessee, and unranked was the opponent. It was flipped the other day. But for my kids, because they are young, they probably don't understand the history, other than when you walk in there, you got banners from one end to the other. So there's obviously been a ton of success at the University of Tennessee in women's basketball. But other than that, I don't know that our kids, like Dom said today, after you play them a couple times, it becomes, okay, this is a really good team that we're fixing to play, but you don't let the other stuff get so big that you can't function. Whereas in years past, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you had to go in there and play the whole aura, you know, of the program. So I think, look, Tennessee is a great team. Holly's doing a great job with them. They still have a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans. They still have a tremendous home court, great fan base. I mean, they're still Tennessee. But I think for our kids, they really went in there with a great approach, and they have learned to function in that environment, if that makes sense. We've gone on the road, we've functioned in some other environments very similar. Iowa State. And so I think that's the piece that, and they're seniors now. So they've already played there a couple times. We've been other places that are hard to play. So they're ready for that. They get it.
Robbie asked you earlier about chemistry and roles. Kind of a two-part question. Did you think at the beginning of the season that chemistry would be apparently as strong as it is now? And has the success fueled it, or does the success just come as a result of it?
Well, I think our kids enjoy, because of who they are, they enjoy the assist as much as they enjoy the bucket. I think we are successful because of our chemistry, because of how well our kids get along on and off the court. Did I see it coming? Yes. I knew I had a lot of good players, and the challenge for me as a head coach is to find playing time for all of them. Finding playing time and finding the right playing time is two different things. And that's the piece as a coach that's very challenging. When to put who in at what time and what moment. I said this all along. It's not who starts, it's who finishes the game a lot of times. And so, but also for kids we have to, as coaches, get them ready so that they can function and they can contribute. And so I think the development piece with a lot of our kids has been important. And yeah, I think that the chemistry right now is what's allowing us to be successful. There's no doubt about it.
If you were to grade yourself, how well do you think that you've helped stir the pot, so to speak, in trying to get that chemistry to boil and come to where it's ready?
Well, I still think our best basketball is in front of us. So I think we're still stirring the pot, so to speak. I think we played really bad Thursday. I mean, and I'll take full responsibility for that. We were not very good at Arkansas at all in a lot of areas. Now, at the end of the day, we held them 51 points, 29% shooting. So, but the chemistry piece, y'all, defensively is the last piece that really comes. And so my hope is that we're still going to get better on that end. And right now we're not bad on that end, but it's hard for me to get too excited one way or the other, because Thursday we weren't very good, and then Sunday we played a little better. But Sunday we made shots. Morgan made some big shots for us, clock going down. We made 3 threes at the end of the first, second, and third quarter. So some things went right for us. But we made plays. I mean, Blair makes the shot to end the half, but Katera's the one that made it happen. She was the one that made the play. She's smart enough to know we called the play to run out of the timeout. They came out in a little bit of a different zone. She understands the game, and she makes the play that allows Blair to shoot it by coming up and screaming. So if you don't have Katera, you don't ever get Blair. You're never going to get that shot off. So right now, I just think we've got a lot of, like I said today in the luncheon, Katera's been a starter off and on her whole career. So to me, she's just another starter. The luxury we have with this team is that I have a starter that gets to sit there and watch and go in and fix what's broke. I got a 2-headed monster at 4 with her and Bree. I got a 2-headed monster at 5 with Chinwe and Tierra. And so that position is in really, those 4 are doing a great job. You can add Jazz to the point guard spot, Blair and Rowe to the 2 spot. I had Iggy at one point. She's dinged up right now and can't function. But so we've had a lot of kids that have been able to step up and provide good stuff for us.
Is Iggy going to be available Thursday?
No.
How long do you think it should be unavailable?
Well, I don't know. Right now, I think we're just, we're in a holding pattern right now.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, praise the Lord, go Dogs.